Waku, but we haven't really been hearing about where does this all run. What do I mean with where does this all run? It means, okay, we know that when we run computers, when we run things on our computer, these things are probably running, well, in our computer. The processing is in our computer. And for the most part, that's fairly safe. And then when we use websites or when we use web apps, we know that this is happening somewhere in the cloud, somewhere far away. And we don't pay much attention to where all of this is happening, to all of this infrastructure is happening. So I want to tell you a story that I think it will exemplify a little bit why is it important to know where logos will run. Let's go back to 2017. 2017, my name is Lansky. I am the project lead at Dapnnode. And in 2007, and I'm Catalan. I don't know how many of you know about Catalonia. That's a fair bit. Okay. So Catalonia is a region of Spain. It's a region that wants, some people in Catalonia want independence. Independence from the rest of Spain. And in 2017, there was a popular movement to do a referendum. It was not an independentist movement. It was a movement to make a referendum. A referendum is a popular vote. So we wanted, Catalans wanted, to make a popular vote and get everybody to be able to decide. Do they want to be part of Spain? Or do they want an independent Catalonia and have their own state? We've been hearing a lot about network states. This is way before any concept of network states. We're talking about traditional states right now. And there were several associations, there were several civil movement rights groups called like Tsunami Democratic, Ateneo. There was a bunch of different civil society organizations that started promoting this referendum. The government, the Spanish government said, no, this referendum shall never happen. And these organizations said, like, why not? This is a civil movement and it will be organized by the people. And what we want to know as a society is, do people agree? Do they want to be independent or not? We just want to know. This is a non-binding referendum. But we want to know what people think. Spain said no. So people organized it anyway. And there were several websites. There was several things that they posted. And the government said, I'm going to go to the ISPs, the internet service provider, and say, do not serve access to those websites. Censor them, block them. Censorship in 2017, hardcore political censorship in 2017. Wow, that's pretty hardcore. And this is an example of this URL blocked by the judicial police, the judicial authority. So enter Jordi Bailina. Some of you might know Jordi Bailina. He does pioneering work in zero-knowledge proofs, and he's leading the efforts on ZK EVM. So Jordi Bailina also happens to be a really staunch defender of the rights of the Catalan people to determine themselves. And he decided, hey, that's cool. They can ban this because they use centralized servers. But I'm starting to learn about IPFS. I'm starting to learn about Ethereum. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror all of those sites on IPFS. Who knows about IPFS? Okay, not bad. IPFS is the centralized storage, much like Codex. Don't kill me. It's a similar vibe. It uses different things. We're going to talk about it later. But much like Codex, it's the centralized storage. And he said, okay, everybody will be able to access those websites because they're going to be into IPFS. Now, this was 2017. There was not many IPFS gateways around. So the Spanish government was like, are people still accessing these websites? I'm just going to ban at ISP level the only IPFS gateway that exists, and nobody in Spain could use IPFS. Not only the websites, but IPFS entirely. So, and then Jordi realized, hey, it doesn't really matter if we have the centralized technologies. It doesn't really matter that we have all of these systems that are Byzantine fault resistant, and they have all these fancy properties of decentralization, if at the end of the day we're accessing them via a centralized server that we can go and take and say, nope, you are not accessing this content. You are not accessing this website. You are not communicating with these people. You are not transacting with these people. You are censored. You are banned. You are excluded from the system. So the referendum ended up happening. There was lots of violence. It is 2017, Spain, a supposedly democratic country, and this is what ended up happening. All right. So Jordi is the founder of Dapnnode. Dapnnode came out of this idea that it's useless to have the centralized protocols if we do not control the access to these protocols themselves. But how could possibly these organizations that were grassroots organizations, they had nothing technical, they had no IT people, they were universities and neighborhood groups, how could they possibly run an IPFS node? We needed something. We needed a software, we needed a hardware, something that somebody, without any technical knowledge, you could just go, click, and deploy, and you would have that particular node in your hands. And you could share it with your community. You could share it with the rest of your university, the rest of your community, the rest of your network state, maybe. And after many years, this is where we are. Dapnnode is free open source software that you can use to deploy any sort of nodes, any sort of infrastructure. An IPFS node, check. An Ethereum node, check. A Bitcoin node, a Zcash node, a Monero node, a Swarm node, a Codex node, a Waku node, whatever type of nodes, you can deploy them with a single click. And that's exactly what we're going to do now with Waku. Because Dapnnode is completely agnostic, it's completely decentralized, and when you install it in your machine, it's a machine just like this one, only you control what's happening inside of this machine. You can install it, this is an Intel NUC with a fancy lid and a fancy box. You can build your own Intel NUC and put Dapnnode on it. And you actually can run an IPFS node as well. And you can run an Ethereum node as well. You don't need Dapnnode, but Dapnnode is the missing piece. Good. Dapnnode is the missing piece that helps the people that are non-technical deploy it. And it will help you if you are technical, not having to worry about Docker Compose, when is the new version coming up, and it will just automatically update itself. So the core of Dapnnode is the Dap Store. Right now, I am connected via VPN. This Dapnnode is not inside of my iPad. I'm connecting to a machine just like this one, and that's what I'm going to raffle at the end of this talk. You can get this one at home and do the exact same things that I'm going to be doing today. So, I'm connecting via VPN to my dad's house. My dad has one of these, and I'm connected via VPN through it. And through my.dapnode, if you try it on your phone right now if you want, you will not get to any URL, because this is a local URL that this machine is serving me. But you don't need to know that. All these people in all these organizations don't need to know that. The only thing that they need to do is that it's their gateway to install anything and to access anything. So what we're going to do, the core is the Dap Store, and you can see that you have all of these different apps that you can just install with one click. Maybe you want to install Bitcoin. Then we would go here and we'd click install, and it would just start download. When it says download, it's basically going to IPFS and downloading the content, the Docker image of a Bitcoin node. For those a little bit that try to understand what's happening right now, it's using the centralized systems. to download this into your machine, and we'll install it, and now we can see that it's running. So, basically, if we're trying to build a network state, if we're trying to build anything that is censorship resistant, anything that is sovereign, that we own, and that nobody can censor us, nobody can exclude that from the system, we need to run this ourselves. And we can do it without any technical knowledge with Dapnnode. And this is what we have done with the Bitcoin package. Let's try with Waku. Es mayúsculas, es case sensitive. Aha. Okay, so we have a Waku package, and now we're going to go through 30 grueling minutes of installation, of configuration, of making sure that you get the peers right, of making sure that we click the install button and everything is actually configured for us. And we actually can configure this if we want, but it's all pre-configured. And everything is, so I'll just click, I didn't need to touch anything, I'll just click submit. Now again, it's downloading this from IPFS. It's the Docker image. I hope something's going to happen. And we installed Waku. And we can see right here how Waku is trying to find peers. Thank you. It's always quite underwhelming when you show people this, because you just have to click a couple of buttons and it happens. And if you've never done the process manually without Dapnnode, you go like, well, you just click fucking 2 buttons. And I'm like, damn right, that's the hard part to do, that you only have to click 2 buttons to deploy this. So, so you can do that as well, no matter how. As you can see, I've used 0 command line, I've used 0 technical knowledge, and if you're not technical, that matters nothing. You can get this machine and do it yourself. So, now to the part that everybody's waiting for. Who wants a Dapnnode? Great. I did a good job at hyping people up. Huh? Okay, good. So everybody that wants a Dapnnode, stand up. Alvaro, stand up. Okay. So this is how it's going to be. I'm going to make yes or no questions. And people that think that the answer is yes, I will say 1, 2, go. And when I say go, you have 2 choices. Raise your hand if you think that the answer is yes, or keep your hand down if you think the answer is no. If you do like this, I'm going to make you sit down. If I see somebody going like, I'm going to point at you and make you sit down, okay? You're going to be eliminated. So as you can see, the people that get it wrong, if you raise your hand for a yes and the answer is no, you're going to have to sit down. And it's going to be a last man standing. It's going to be the person that ends up standing after I keep asking question after question and testing your knowledge. Have you been paying attention today? I hope so. So the person, the person that stays standing the last will get a Dapnnode at home. So might as well start with the questions. We're going to start with a test question, okay? So, Dapnnode is owned by Amazon Web Services. Do not reply. I'm going to count 1, 2, go. And when I say go, you're going to raise your hand for a yes, meaning yes, Dapnnode is owned by Amazon Web Services. And you're going to keep your hand down for a no. Dapnnode is not owned by Amazon Web Services. Okay? 1, 2, go. One sitting down already. No, it was a test one. It was a test one. You can stand up. You can still stand up. Okay, but I think we get it, right? We get how this works. Fantastic. All right, so let's start with the first question. And that's going to be controversial. The first question, and do not raise your hand. Wait until I say 1, 2, go, okay? Waku is a messaging app. 1, 2, go. These two, please sit down. Oh, damn. Okay, so Waku, what is Waku?
Waku, it's a protocol, not an application.
There we go. It's a set, it's a suite of protocols. Now we can let this pass. Okay, so Codex uses data replication. 1, 2, go. All of those who raise your hand, you can sit down. Codex uses erasure codes. Okay, good. All right. Nomos. Nomos conceptually presents a coordination layer, a base layer, and then sovereignty zones. Hand up for yes, keep your hand down for no. 1, 2, go. All of those who raised your hand, and you should be ashamed of yourselves, you can already sit down because they have a base layer, a coordination layer, and execution zones, not sovereignty zones. It was a trick question. Okay, who's standing? Who's standing? Good, perfect. One more. Thus, Waku use libp2p. Hand up for yes, hand down for no. 1, 2, go. Whoever has their hand down, they can sit down. All right. One more. Okay. Thus, Codex use Starks for remote auditing. 1, 2, go. Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay, good. Nice. It was a trick question. Huh? They actually use snarks. So, yeah, good job. All right. Nomos is a blockchain based on modularity, sovereignty, adaptability, and privacy. Raise your hand for yes, down for no. 1, 2, go. Yes, the answer was yes, so whoever, okay, we're running out of questions, Good job, guys, good job. These 4 warriors, congratulations. So, if the erasure codes, now this is a hard one, okay. If the erasure code parameters for uploading a file to Codex are k = 3, m = 2, then you need 6 storage nodes. Hand up for yes, hand down for no. 1, 2, go. No. But it was really hard. You can stay up. This was a trick question. You can stay up. It was a trick question. But okay. So we're going to talk about something that we haven't talked about, but you guys should know. And we're going to talk about Nimbus, also coming from this sphere of people around here. Nimbus, as we all know, is written in Rust. Hand up for yes, hand down for no. 1, 2, go. Perfect. Nimbus was adapted to run any proof of stake, including Avalanche. Hand up for yes, hand down for no. 1, 2, go. That's right. It cannot run Avalanche. Nimbus was originally built to run on mobile. Hand up for yes, hand down for no. 1, 2, go. All the people that said no, you can sit down. And we have a winner! Winner! You can come here. You can come here and take your Dapnnode. For the rest of you, thank you very much. I hope you'll be... Oh, a picture. Jesse. We need to do the official picture. There we go. There you go. I mean, it's hard to circle you, dude. Nice. Thanks to you. Good job. So for the rest of you, I hope my talk kind of like challenged you a little bit and maybe like encourage you to install Dapnnode in your own machine. You don't need one of those. If you have a machine that can be online all the time, I do not recommend a laptop, but any Intel NUC, Gigabyte Bricks, any mini PC can handle it. If you know how to install Linux, you know how to install Dapnnode. And I highly recommend you do so. Thank you very much.